but then that tapered off. People, got lax again. But, when Obama got elected, God bless him, he just, classes just went through the roof, just like gun sales.
Right. Yeah.
And, it brought all of those, and then every year since then, it just keeps going up and up and up and up and up. And, you know where I teach? I teach out in the middle of nowhere, in the East Cupcake, Michigan.
Right.
And it's just, we've had between 50 and 100 students per class.
Wow.
This last November. And usually my summer classes are really small. In fact, in years past, in July, I've had to cancel my class.
Right.
Simply because people are on vacation, weddings, all that sort of nonsense. And but not this July, where things are.
Well,
there's no sign of letting up at all.
And also, the terrorism and the ISIS threat and some of those things, where some of these events are now taking place on U.S. soil, and I think people are saying, I don't want to be a victim. I want to learn how to defend myself in case something like that happens. So there's that issue as well, right?
Yeah, there sure is. It's like it used to be, 10, 12 years ago, we were talking about you train for the most likely scenario, which at that time would have been a mugging, one-on-one from 3 to 5 feet away. That still is the most likely scenario for the average person, but you can't discount, race riots. You can't discount
mass shooting. Yeah,
active shooters. I mean, active shooters have been on the rise for years now, and so. For me personally, I train a little bit differently. I no longer train just for that mugging. I train for how am I going to take out that active shooter.
Right.
And such. I'll practice more headshots because you could be going up against body armor and things of that nature. So, yeah, it's just it's different now, but it's a really fun different.
Or groin shots.
Well, and the thing is, the kind of person that we have now, I mean, 15 years ago, you had Johnny Redneck, he's been shooting guns his whole life, and basically he's just going through the motions to get the training to get his permit. Now you've got, Shaniqua, who is 22 years old, never shot a gun in her life, and you have to approach them differently, especially out on the range.
Yeah.
One thing that I augmented a couple of years ago was I went to a one-on-one instruction on the range. So and with a class of 100, that's expensive and it's challenging, but I really think it's worth it. What we do is we'll have like 100 people, 10 targets. I'll hire 10 range safety officers, and when you go up on the line, you are one-on-one with an experienced trainer, and I really believe that's the best way to do it, simply from a safety standpoint, because you don't want these people who've never shot before up there being watched by one person watching 3. That just does not work anymore.
Well, talk about. I love your story about the mom that took the class, and she was shooting very badly, and you were looking at her technique and going, I don't know what's quite wrong. Why aren't you hitting the center of mass? And you kind of figured it out and did what?
Well, I tell that story in every class because, especially now, when about 40% of my class are women, and that just keeps growing. Because one of the things that I found with my students is they're very good people. They're moral people. They're nonviolent people. They don't want to hurt anybody. And when you're in a gunfight, that can be a detriment.
Right.
So, one of the things I teach is you have to decide ahead of time when you are willing to use deadly force and when you're not, because, when someone sticks a gun in your face, you don't have time and you don't have the mental faculties, the presence of mind to figure out, to answer that moral question.
Right.
And what I did with this woman, it was a husband and wife. It was a private class, and we were out on their farm. We'd been through 7 hours of class time. We were out on the range shooting. The man, he shot just fine. Woman couldn't hit a house if she was standing in it. She was just really, really bad. Normally I can watch someone shoot. I can look at their group. I can make corrections. This woman didn't have a group. So she was getting really frustrated. So I called her off to the side and I said, said, okay, I don't know what you're doing wrong, but, something's bothering you. Tell me what's going on. And she just unloaded on me, it's my husband's fault. He doesn't, he wants me to take this class. I don't like guns. She made a statement. She says, I'm a good Christian person, and I don't believe in killing under any circumstances. And I said, really? I said, wow. I said, well, what if someone's trying to kill you? She says, it doesn't matter. I would rather die than kill another human being. And I said, wow, it's a good thing we found that out before, you start carrying a gun.
Sure.
But, I said, you know what, you've been through like 8 hours of training already. Why don't we just try one more thing before we give up? And she said, okay. So I said, close your eyes, and I'm going to tell you a story, and I want you to imagine that story in your mind. So she closed her eyes, and I said, here's the situation. You're down the road at the gas station. You're pumping gas into your car. A vehicle drives up, parks next to your car. A man gets out, walks over to your car, and reaches in through the back open window and unbuckles your 1-year-old daughter from the car seat. He picks your daughter up. She starts to cry, and then he carries her over to his car and starts to put her inside. And then her face just got all tight and tense, and I asked her, I said, point blank, I said, what would you do? I said, at that point in time, could you take another human life? And this good, pious Christian woman immediately said, I would shoot that son of a bitch.
Right.
And, the point is she hadn't thought about that. And that's the case with most people.
Yeah.
It's real easy to say, you know what, I could never hurt a fly. Right. I'm just, I'm like, Mother Teresa and Gandhi all rolled up into one lovable fuzzball. But, it's different. I think that a lot of people, can use deadly force, but you've got to think about it ahead of time. You got to get rid of that startle response so that you don't hesitate so much. Because, when you hesitate, you freeze up, and then the bad guy takes control.
Well,
so that's one of the things that I stress.
What she was saying was, I will sacrifice myself because that's my choice. But damn it, don't hurt my babies. And I'll do whatever I can to protect my babies. And
you bet.
That's a mindset, and that's where you have to look at that.
Yeah.
All right. We got just a couple of minutes left. Where can they get your book? And also, you're on another radio station. You want to talk about that real quick?
Yeah. Let's talk about. I'm the co-host on America's #1 military talk radio show. It's called Front Lines of Freedom. We're on 103 stations syndicated across the country. It's a 2-hour show. And
yet we've never been on your show.
Well, you know what, Brian? Why don't you and Nate be on my show next? I'm going to do a special show on personal... Seriously.
All right.
So we'll go ahead and do that. Remind me that I said that after the hangover's going.
We can talk about open carry and its benefits.
You can do that, yes. And I open carry.
I know you do. It was funny because, really quick, the picture we took, the three of us at the dinner, you were the only one open carrying. Nate and I were both concealed carrying. You didn't notice that, did you?
No, I didn't notice that. But I guess that begs the question: why weren't you open carrying?
Yeah, we just didn't feel like it.
It's a good question.
It was just odd.
We were there to talk about a concealed carry book.
Yeah. Anyways, right. so you're where can they listen? Or the website or whatever?
Get the book on Amazon.com. That's the quickest, easiest way to get it.
Sure.
If you want a special deal, if you want signed copies, go to my website, mwtac.com. That's Michael Whiskey Tango Alpha Charlie.com.
Oh, yeah.
And also on there, I think it's $16.95 free shipping for a signed copy. And then I've got a special deal going right now for $12.95 on my website. You can get an unsigned copy. So that's the best way to get it.
All right. Well, Nate and I both enjoyed the book. We thought it was very beneficial. We thought it was well written, easy read, made sense, great for beginners. I think anybody that takes a concealed course should probably buy this book.
Yeah, completely agree. Skip, thank you for your time.
Thank you, guys, and I'll talk to you next month.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yes, sir.
Bye-bye.
All right. Civilian Combat, the concealed carry book.
Yes.
Amazon.com or mwtac.com. Any last words in the last 5 to 9 seconds? AtOddShow.com,
God bless.
Facebook.com/AtOddShow. See you next week.
Bye-bye.